Panasonic, one of the world's biggest corporations, which, along with Sony, Hitachi, Toshiba, Pioneer, Yamaha, and other giants, made post-war Japan one of the most developed countries in the world. The company's history began in 1918, when a young man named Konosuke Matsushita opened a small electrical equipment firm in Osaka. In fact, Matsushita started working with electrical engineering earlier, but it is believed that the birth of the future global corporation happened in 1918. Konosuke was born in 1894 in the village of Wasamura, which is now part of Wakayama City. Konosuke's father was a wealthy villager. He leased land to farmers. Konosuke grew up in a large family. When the boy was 4 years old, the family faced financial problems. His father's business suffered a number of failures. As a result, the head of the family was forced to engage in a new business, for which it was decided to move to Osaka. However, the family was unable to find suitable housing. As a result, little Konosuke, along with his parents, brothers, and sisters, moved into a small flat near Wakayama. Space was very scarce and sanitary conditions were very poor, causing the family to fall ill. The illnesses were so severe that Konosuke lost 2 brothers and 1 sister. In 1901, 7-year-old Konosuke went to school, but the family was heartbroken over the recent tragic deaths of their children. School was not going well. After a couple of years, the still very young Konosuke dropped out of school in Wakayama and went to work in Osaka. His father got him a job as an assistant at the Miyota Hibachi store, which sold ovens for heating and cooking. It was during that difficult period that Matsushita became accustomed to constant labor and a difficult life. After working at the oven shop, Konosuke took a job at the Godai bicycle store. The owner of the shop, Otakichi Godai, was strict but caring. Otakichi saw great potential in young Konosuke. The boy was interested in business, understood the nature of the business, and learnt at such an early age how to make the most of challenges and hardships. At the age of 15, Konosuke took a job at Osaka Electric Light Company as an assistant assembler. A few years later, he started a family. By the age of 22, he was a quality control inspector at Osaka Electric Light Company, which was an honorable position. Although he was successful, the talented Matsushita could not realize his full potential through employment. The bosses only supported Konosuke's diligence, but not his desire to invent his own products. In the summer of 1917, Konosuke quit his job. Together with his wife and her relative Toshio, who would later become the founder of Sanyo Electric, the ambitious Matsushita opened his own workshop. Konosuke's endeavor was supported by his colleagues at Osaka Electric Light Company. Some of them even quit their jobs to help Konosuke. There was a lot of enthusiasm, but Matsushita's first products, light bulb holders, were not wanted by the shops. The merchants were simply afraid to buy from an unknown workshop. As a result, Konosuke was abandoned by his colleagues at Osaka Electric Light Company. There was no money not only for salaries, but also for tools to work with. Nevertheless, Matsushita's diligence bore fruit. At the end of 1917, the workshop received its first major order from Kawakita Electric. The customer required elements for fans. Konosuke took the order responsibly and, together with his wife Mamino and Toshio, fulfilled it qualitatively and on time. The customer was satisfied and asked Matsushita to produce another 2,000 boards. After a few months, the workshop managed to save money to start manufacturing various electronic parts. Large companies learnt about the new manufacturer, which offered high quality at low prices. In the spring of 1918, Matsushita's workshop moved into a rented 2-story building, where a small company called Matsushita Electric Housewares Manufacturing Works was opened. This is what is considered to be the beginning of Panasonic. Initially in the new building, the company only dealt with parts for electrical appliances, but Matsushita was keen to produce his own equipment. The company's first successful product was a special socket that connected to a lamp bulb holder and allowed to power home electrical appliances. The product was in demand, as in those years there were no conventional in-wall sockets in Japan. The Japanese pulled all the wires through the house from a central cable in the ceiling for lighting. A little later, Matsushita released a double bulb socket that was easy to use and allowed electrical appliances to be quickly connected to it without having to unscrew the bulb. This product became even more in demand. However, Matsushita's products, while high quality and inexpensive, were not unique. In one form or another, competitors were offering similar products. Young Konosuke wanted to do something completely his own and break through. Despite gaining customers, Matsushita Electric Housewares Manufacturing Works was in dire need of money. Konosuke even sold personal belongings to keep the company running. However, the young entrepreneur's patience brought results. By the beginning of 1919, Matsushita's workshop already had 20 hired workers. In order to strengthen and unite the team, Konosuke organized the Hochikai community, a free association of workers, resembling a kind of club, where sports, cultural and entertainment events were held. In 1920, the company managed to grow to the point of creating its own logo, the letter M and an arrow in a rhombus. In the same year, the company started negotiations with businessmen from Tokyo. By 1922, the company managed to launch cooperation with companies in the capital. In addition, that year Matsushita Electric opened a small factory and an office. However, the most important event of 1922 was the release of a bicycle light, which could work up to 40 hours from 3 batteries. The idea for the bullet-shaped headlamp came to Konosuke in a sleep. He did not want his new invention to fail, so he agreed to receive money from shops only after the end customer paid for the product and did not reject it. Thanks to this approach and interesting product, Matsushita Electric became widely known. In 1923, an earthquake almost completely destroyed Tokyo. The company's sales network was destroyed, but in early 1924 Matsushita opened a new branch in Tokyo and began to rebuild. In 1925, a separate factory was built to produce bicycle lights and a contract was signed with Yamamoto Trading Company, giving it exclusive rights to sell nationwide in exchange for a guarantee of 10,000 units per month. In 1927, Konosuke Matsushita's company introduced a square-shaped lantern, which was sold under the brand name National and could be used not only on bicycles but also in the home. Matsushita himself came up with the name. In his opinion, such a name was ideal for products that would be used in every household across the country. Thanks to good business decisions, National Lantern sales reached 30,000 units per month. At the same time, the Super Iron Electric Iron, thermostat-based electric foot warmer and other products were added to the company's product range. In other words, Konosuke had finally achieved his goal, his own production of electrical appliances. Already in these early years, the future Panasonic began to adhere to internal principles: quality products at affordable prices, economical production, respect for employees and customers, constant development. Closer to the 30s, in order to maintain the working mood in the company, Matsushita came up with the idea of publishing a magazine for employees. This publication, Hochikai Magazine, was created to both entertain employees and put them in the right frame of mind. In addition, Matsushita Electric Monthly, the company's magazine, was freely available in those years, featuring news, insights, and industry information. In 1929, when the company already employed more than 300 people, Konosuke signed several documents that spelled out the company's code and its main objectives. The main principle was to serve the public good. The company's philosophy was conveyed by the following words of Matsushita: "Recognizing our responsibility as industrialists, we will dedicate ourselves to the progress and development of society and people's welfare through our business activities, thereby improving the quality of life around the world." The previously mentioned Toshio Io, the creator of Sanyo, later said that Konosuke Matsushita was not the most talented or inventive entrepreneur of the time, but that he had tremendous tenacity and a love of work. In 1929, due to the fall of the New York Stock Exchange, Japan's economy was hit hard. Many large companies began to lay off employees, but Matsushita decided not to break his own code. Konosuke showed respect for the workers by refusing to lay off anyone and cutting salaries, but halving production to save money and reducing the number of working hours by half. In return, Konosuke demanded that workers look for ways to market the products. The employees approved the strategy. In this way, through a concerted effort, the company was able to sell off its stock of products and return to normal operations. In 1931, Matsushita Electric began producing radios, but production was based on an existing third-party factory that Konosuke had purchased earlier. It quickly became evident that the radios were of poor quality. This did not satisfy Konosuke, and he commissioned his senior engineer, Tetsujiro Nokoro, to develop their own reliable model. As a result, the company created a prototype of a new receiver with the index R31. This prototype won first place in a competition organized by the Japan Broadcasting Corporation. However, this event is not considered a turning point in the history of Panasonic. The fact is that in those years the company was focused on lighting devices and batteries. In 1943, Matsushita Electric was one of the largest battery manufacturers on the market. Nevertheless, between 1930 and 1940, Matsushita managed to establish production of almost 250 types of products. These were mostly existing products, perfected to the highest level of innovation and offered at discounted prices. During that period, Konosuke paid great attention to the development of management. He could not control everything alone, so Matsushita divided the company into several separate parts with different factories, which were managed by specially trained managers who had completed courses. In 1934, Matsushita launched production of household electric motors, and in 1935, the Matsushita Electric Trading Company, MET, was established to sell goods overseas. As a result, sales of the company's products in Southeast Asia grew significantly. At that time, Matsushita Electric was officially transformed into Matsushita Electric Industrial (MEI) Corporation and began to open representative offices in other countries. In the second half of the 1930s, the corporation consisted of 9 divisions and 4 subsidiaries. The main products remained light bulbs and batteries, but the production of electric motors quickly caught up with these divisions. In addition, the company successfully produced microphones, car batteries, hairdryers, and other household appliances. At the same time, Matsushita was engaged in the development of a TV. As a result, in 1938 the first prototype with a 12-inch screen appeared. During the war years, Matsushita Electric Industrial was forced to reorganize itself for military needs and to start producing relevant products, including wooden ships and even aircraft. At the same time, the share of production of goods for civilian needs was significantly reduced. In April 1943, the Matsushita Shipbuilding Company, a subsidiary of the Matsushita and Matsushita Airplane Company, appeared. By the time of Japan's capitulation in 1945, Matsushita Electric had 67 plants in its assets. However, the company had accumulated large debts and its workers were exhausted. Soon MEI was ordered by the Allied Forces Command to shut down production. The company was stripped of offices, factories, and subsidiaries overseas, and Konosuke himself was removed from management. The number of workers was significantly reduced, and some of the company's factories were destroyed. Even at such a time, however, Konosuke did not back down. He appealed to his employees to uphold the company's traditional spirit and continue to improve people's lives. The MEI union collected over 1,500 signatures in favor of Konosuke. As a result, in 1947 it was decided to keep Konosuke Matsushita at the head of the company, and by 1950 almost all restrictions were lifted from the corporation. However, the debt issue could not be solved. The company had to reduce working hours and lay off some employees for the first time. In 1951, Matsushita visited America and Europe to gain new experience, study the market and find partners for cooperation. As a result, in 1952 MEI signed an agreement with Philips to create a joint subsidiary, allowing the two companies to share technical expertise and management skills. Thanks to the cooperation, the Japanese corporation was able to take its products to a higher level. In 1954, the Philips Matsushita joint factory in Osaka began production of lamps, kinescopes, and other electronic products. At that period, Panasonic introduced its first mass-produced black-and-white TV set National 17K531, which differed from its competitors with a 17-inch rectangular CRT screen. Also in the mid-50s, the company opened several new laboratories where engineers invented new products and improved old ones. Another major event of those years was the deal in which Matsushita acquired JVC. In 1954, The PS54 5-lamp radio was released, as well as the PL420 compact single-band portable 4-lamp radio. Both units were intended for export. In 1955, a real boom began in electrical household goods. TVs, refrigerators, and washing machines from MEI were particularly popular. The company produced products in batches of thousands. In the same year, Matsushita first applied the name Panasonic to some of its export products, loudspeakers and lamps. The etymology of the name is related to the ancient Greek word pan, all, and Latin sonic, sound. In 1957, the FM radio receiver EA765 and the first compact transistor receiver UB150 went into production. In 1958, the company released its first stereo system and its first home reel-to-reel tape recorder, the RQ201. The following year, its modified version became National's first exported tape recorder. Around the same time, the world's most compact 6-transistor receiver, the T10, was introduced. At the close of the 1950s, Matsushita opened the Matsushita Electric Corporation of America in New York, which sold products under the Panasonic brand. In the early 1960s, the company actively began building its factories abroad, while also providing technical assistance to developing countries, including Pakistan, Vietnam, and Uruguay. In Thailand, a division for battery production called National Thai Company was opened. And in 1962, Matsushita Electric Taiwan was established to produce radio receivers and household goods in Taiwan. By 1967, MEI had built factories in Mexico, Puerto Rico, Costa Rica, Peru, Tanzania, the Philippines, and Australia. In January 1961, Konosuke Matsushita announced his decision to step down as president and take the position of chairman of the board. The new president of the company became Konosuke's son-in-law, Masaharu, who had previously changed his last name from Hiyota to Matsushita. Thanks to such rapid growth, the corporation gained worldwide popularity. Konosuke was featured in respected publications, including Life and the New York Times, and Time magazine even placed his portrait on the cover. In the early 1960s, the company also introduced the 21-inch color television National K21-10. It also released its first portable battery-powered reel-to-reel tape recorder, the RQ112. In 1962, the T801 was launched, a portable 2-band transistor receiver with high sensitivity and excellent sound quality. The model was considered a benchmark product. In 1964, Konosuke Matsushita temporarily assumed the position of director of the corporate sales division and began addressing the company's accumulated problems by completely overhauling its sales and distribution structure. In April 1965, MEI became the first major manufacturer in Japan to introduce a 5-day workweek. That same year, the company's production lineup included its first hi-fi bookshelf speakers, the EAB1204, released under the new Technics brand, which was created for audio components. In 1971, this new brand, producing premium high-quality audio equipment, became an independent label for high-end audio enthusiasts. Starting in 1966, with the launch of cassette recorders and consumer VCRs, the company's sales increased by 30%. In 1967, the first cassette player National RQ231 with an FM/AM tuner went into production, along with the first 8-track cartridge tape recorder, the first stereo car audio system CX801, and the first video camera. In 1969, the world's smallest black-and-white TV with a 1.5-inch screen, the Mica 1 TR001, was released, as well as the first color transistor TV, the TH30PU. In 1970, the revolutionary Technics SP10 vinyl turntable hit the market, featuring a direct drive system that offered several advantages over belt-driven systems, smoother rotation, greater durability, and minimal noise and vibration. In 1971, the company declared itself a global corporation. From that point on, it became a leader in electronics manufacturing not only in Japan and the US, but also in countries around the world. In 1972, under the Technics brand, the SL1200 direct drive turntable was released. It became a massive bestseller and was later produced in various versions. An updated version of this model is still part of the company's catalog today. The SL1200 is still considered a benchmark in turntable design. In July 1973, on the eve of the company's 55th anniversary, Konosuke Matsushita stepped away from day-to-day operations and took the position of executive advisor. In 1974, Matsushita acquired the TV division of Motorola and established a subsidiary called Quasar Electronics. In 1976, the VX2000 VCR was introduced. At that time, Matsushita still held the majority stake in Japan Victor Corporation, JVC, which had developed the slant-track VHS cassette format, the format that ultimately won the battle against Sony's Betamax. In 1978, the portable VHS video camera VZ C510 appeared. Also in 1977, the product lineup was expanded with a predecessor of modern mobile gadgets, the Panasonic R012 pocket radio, only 12.7 mm thick. That same year, at Konosuke's insistence, the new president of the corporation became Toshihiko Yamashita, who successfully revitalized the company and effectively refreshed its product lineup. In 1982, MEI introduced its first CD player, the Technics SL-P10. It featured an attractive design with a highly readable display, compact dimensions, vertical disc loading, and a range of functions. In 1983, the Panasonic Senior Partner computer was launched, fully compatible with the IBM PC. In 1985, the MacLord Movie NVM1 video camera appeared, capable of recording onto VHS cassettes. Devices like this later became known as camcorders. In February 1986, Akio Tainii became the president of MEI. In 1987, Matsushita Electric signed an agreement with the Chinese authorities to establish a joint venture for the production of CRT picture tubes for color televisions. This marked Panasonic's first investment in China since the war. The new company, Beijing Matsushita Color CRT Company, Limited, began operations in June 1989 and employed 1,400 staff. Initially, it produced 21-inch color CRTs. Other formats were added later. On April 27, 1989, Konosuke Matsushita passed away at the age of 94. Many international figures expressed their condolences, including US President George Bush and Japanese Prime Minister Noboru Takeshita. A year before his death, Konosuke allocated $27 million to establish the Matsushita International Foundation, an organization aimed at promoting mutual understanding between Japan and other countries, as well as training personnel. In 1990, Matsushita acquired the American multimedia company MCA Incorporated, along with its subsidiaries, including Universal Pictures. That same year, the company began producing Panacom ProNote laptops and NVW1 VCRs supporting all three video standards, NTSC, PAL, SECAM. And later they launched the compact Bremby NV-S1 camcorder with image stabilization, which gained massive popularity. That same year, the company also released the Mover PTZ-804 mobile phone, equipped with a nickel-metal hydride rechargeable battery. It's worth noting that Matsushita never stopped producing high-quality modern batteries, this division continued to exist and rapidly develop. At the end of 1991, the company's product lineup included the high-definition television TH36 HD1. In 1992, Panasonic released its first laptop with a TFT display and also opened a new research and development center in Tokyo's Shinagawa district. In 1993, ambitious executive Yoichi Morishita took over leadership of the company, setting a new course to overcome the latest wave of economic stagnation. Soon after, the company bought back all Matsushita Electric shares previously held by Philips. In 1993, Panasonic released the 3DO Interactive Multiplayer, a powerful but overpriced gaming console developed by the 3DO company and manufactured by several brands, including Panasonic. Despite advanced graphics and multimedia capabilities for its time, the 3DO struggled due to its high launch price and lack of standout exclusive games. It became a commercial failure, but remains a cult classic in gaming history. In 1996, the company introduced the DVD A300 DVD player, capable of decoding the Dolby Digital AC3 format. That same year, Panasonic released the world's first widescreen 26-inch plasma display, the TH26PD1, along with its first DVD-ROM drive. In 1997, Panasonic unveiled the innovative CN-DV007D car navigation system. By 1998, MEI had launched its first TVs and set-top boxes specifically designed for digital broadcasting, well ahead of the global transition to digital, which would only take place over a decade later. In 1999, the company introduced its first lithium polymer rechargeable battery under the Panasonic brand. In 2000, Kunio Nakamura became the company's new president. He defined his management style using 5 keywords, all starting with the letter S: speed, simplicity, strategy, sincerity, and smile. His new strategy centered around actively embracing IT technologies. In 2003, Matsushita Electric established the global brand Panasonic with the slogan Panasonic, Ideas for Life, and ushered in a new era of flat-panel TVs by launching the Viera television lineup. It is widely considered that 2003 marked the beginning of a new phase in the company's development, which continues to this day. In 2005, the company opened the world's largest plasma panel manufacturing plant, the Amagasaki plant, which quickly reached a production rate of 125,000 plasma TVs per month. In 2008, in celebration of its 90th anniversary, the company officially changed its name from Matsushita Electric Industrial to Panasonic Corporation. In 2009, Panasonic Corporation acquired shares of Sanyo Electric and made it a consolidated subsidiary. In 2010, Panasonic began selling full HD 3D televisions, and 2 years later, the company became the 4th largest television manufacturer in the world. Around the same time, Panasonic introduced its first lamp-free projectors, and in 2013, the company launched 4K televisions. In 2014, Panasonic made a significant move by relaunching its Technics brand, originally established in 1965. To mark the occasion, the company released a series of premium devices for 21st century audiophiles. In 2018, Panasonic Corporation celebrated its centenary. At the same time, the company announced its plans to cease LCD panel production and fully transition to new televisions equipped with OLED screens featuring 4K resolution. By 2020, Panasonic had become one of the largest multinational corporations, covering a wide range of electronics and home appliances, with numerous subsidiaries and branches. In addition to electronics, the company ventured into the automotive industry, modern lighting, solar energy, communications, laser technologies, healthcare, and even construction. In 2022, Panasonic completed a large-scale and significant restructuring, transforming into a holding company, now known as Panasonic Holdings Corporation. The management of the company was handed over to Yuki Kusumi, who became the president and CEO. His predecessor, Kazuhiro Tsuga, now serves as the chairman of the board. The company structure is now divided into specialized subsidiaries. The subsidiary responsible for the production of televisions, audio systems, headphones, and other consumer electronics is Panasonic Entertainment and Communication Company, Limited. This division continues the company's traditions in home appliances and multimedia. The president and CEO of this division is Akira Toyoshima. The current headquarters of Panasonic Corporation is located in Kadoma City, Osaka Prefecture, and as of 2024, the company employs approximately 228,000 people. So, the video about Panasonic Corporation has come to an end. Now, you're invited to watch a separate video about the hi-fi brand Technics. This video will be released soon, and by the time you're watching this, it might already be out. A huge thank you for your support, and I won't repeat what needs to be done to help the channel grow. You know what to do. Thank you all.